Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the Twin Astrology forecast for the week ahead from August 1st through the 6th. I do apologize for not getting on yesterday. I had a very busy day, and so I do feel we're in a massive release when it comes to the shackles of the past. I did receive news on Sunday that my last living grandmother on my father's side had passed away, and I knew she had taken ill, and I did get to have one last visit with her last Wednesday. I noticed that things were kind of lagging, so that's interesting. I just feel like a huge lesson in self-worth for many of the divine feminines is coming up this week. We do have the full moon in Aquarius today. I believe it's exact in my local area around 2:30 this afternoon. Don't quote me on the exact time. But this full moon, I feel, is the opening of the Lion's Gate energies, and we're all being pushed, right, to let go of these feelings of unworthiness, not feeling good enough. I know the full moon is illuminating my 12th house in Aquarius, which is the house of the subconscious mind. It is the house of spirituality. It is the house of karma, the house that knows no bounds. It's the house of coming undone. And so there was a lot of past triggers coming up when it comes to my own personal journey and closing out some very hefty karmic cycles within my own family bloodline. And so I do feel this is a week of cosmic energies pushing the divine feminine energy to rise. And so are we ready for this, right? And so we do still have Venus continuing its retrograde along with the full moon in Aquarius. And so we don't have to try to be good enough when it comes to relationships. We're not here to try to prove our worth to anybody. We're here to just revel in who we are, the glory of who we are, right? Without any outside validation. And so there's a lot of self-re-evaluation, I feel, going on collectively with the twin flames. We've got some oppositions playing out, which I feel are showing up when it comes to external challenges, which is triggering the resurfacing of some karmic cycles. And so I do feel this is the bearing of the past. We are finally closing out these karmic cycles and all of these lower soul contracts. And so I do feel we're in a massive collective purge from everybody that I've been speaking with in my own personal purging that was brought up due to the triggering of my grandmother's passing. And so we kind of have to release everything that's outworn, that's outdated. It's very unpleasant, right? It's very hard to handle, I feel. The intensity of these emotions are going to be very hard to handle in the energies this week. And look at that, 333 on the timer. And so, you know, as unpleasant as it is to drudge up these old feelings, these old past memories, and to do another clearing of this karma, it is really a gift, right? Because when we clear out all of these blocks, all of these limitations, all of these lower soul contracts, and these lower states of being, we can open up to these higher timelines. And so I do feel this week for most of us is going to be a struggle because we've got so many retrogrades as well playing out. And we do have Mercury now in Virgo, which will go retrograde during the Venus retrograde. And so I do feel a lot of us are opening up to the next level of our spiritual gifts, our spiritual wisdom. Unless you want to keep repeating the old cycles, right? We can keep repeating the past over and over again if we choose not to go into the deeper causes and the root cause of our limitations and these self-worth issues where we've not felt good enough. And so we can't change our outer experiences until we come into alignment of self internally first. And so when we shift internally, everything outside will shift as well. And so this is a week of harnessing inner love, and aligning with true love of self. And I do feel there's a lot of mirroring going on in the energies this week. There's a lot of spiritual activations taking place with this full moon. And I do feel we are in a massive spiritual detoxification and cleansing period at this time. And so I know we all have been craving these deeper spiritual relationships. And I know many of us have been struggling lately on the twin flame journey. And I just feel this is where we need to take action for ourselves, right? If something isn't working, clear that out of your life. Heal the old wounds. And we can't heal them if we're not willing to face them. And we have to fully deal with the past in order to let go of these old karmic cycles. But we also need to understand where they came from within our own family bloodline and our family lineage. And so we're in a massive preparation period, a massive cleansing period. If we want more love and we want that spiritual union with another, we cannot keep running from these issues. We have to heal them. We have to feel them. We have to face them. And so it's really, really important, I feel, to honor self-love and self-care this week. And so there's going to be a lot of oppositions. There's going to be a lot of tensions. And with all of the transits playing out this week with oppositions going on, we have Saturn retrograde opposing Venus retrograde and Mercury. We have the Sun still opposing Pluto in retrograde. And so this is creating a lot of karmic tension in the energies. And you know, we're kind of on that fine line of in between worlds. We're kind of in between the past and the future, but we can't really step into the future if we're not taking responsibility for the past and emotional baggage, because emotional baggage will always hold us back when it comes to creating a happy future. And so you might find yourself facing some outer opposition this week. Especially when it comes to a male authority figure or a father figure or society circumstances. I know for myself, I will be attending my grandmother's funeral service at my hometown at the Catholic Church on Friday afternoon. And I'm definitely not looking forward to this because I will be facing my father for the first time in many, many years. And that's why I say, like, for the divine feminine, it's kind of like healing that original father wound of unworthiness. I know my father never made me feel worthy. I really have no desire to ever speak to this man again. But I know this will be the bearing of the cycle for me coming up near the end of the week. And so I do feel I personally am going to have to face some major challenges. It's been quite an emotional roller coaster since I received news last Wednesday of my grandmother taking ill. I'm so glad that I got to see her one last time. I'm not even sure if she knew I was there visiting her. I'd like to believe in my heart that she knew I was there, because I'm pretty sure I saw a tear roll out of her eye. I don't think she could see me, but I sat with her for an hour. I spoke with her, and it's been many years since I have actually seen my grandmother on my father's side due to some family karma and some blocks with my father and my grandfather, who also passed back in May. But I do feel whatever is showing up in the physical world this week for your own personal journey, take it as it is, right? If you've been feeling inner tension, be prepared for something external to expose those blocked feelings. I do feel many of us will experience some sort of outer external challenges of some kind this week, whether it's with your twin flame connection or not. But, you know, whenever I go through these massive purges, I also reorient when it comes to my own creative self-expression. I do feel there's a lot of family issues coming up, financial struggles coming up. I know for myself, I've been very misunderstood on this awakening journey, and I do feel like I've not really been respected by masculine energy at all in my entire life. And so I do feel the energies really are trying to trigger us to get to the root cause. I also feel a lot of the masculines have an external person that has physically been blocking them. And so with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, squaring the North Node and the South Node, I know we've all been feeling like this force. It feels like this force that really has been blocking us from moving forward. And retrograde energies are to kind of slow us down, get us to go within. And so this Aquarius full moon, I feel, is illuminating where we need to honor our own individuality. And so I do feel there's going to be a lot of energies playing out throughout the week surrounding individuality and unorthodox ways of bringing this new timeline forward. And so I have a strong bitter taste in my mouth when it comes to even setting foot into a church. I don't believe in the church. I don't believe in the principles that the church stands for. And my understanding now of this is because of how women have been portrayed in the churches and in religions for many, many lifetimes. And so I also want to say, I've been like 3 or 4 days now, no smoking, no cigarettes. And so that's a huge trigger, right? To get to the seed point of why I was addicted to them and finally being able to release that. So I'm doing a lot of clearing within my lungs and within my throat as well. But I knew it was just time. It was time to find the inspiration to say no more to that final addiction. I've purged so much out of my life, codependencies. I don't drink. I don't really do much of anything but stay present. And the cigarettes was that last final stretch for me, right? That was a form of disassociation and avoiding healing the triggers. And so I do feel all of these old repressed unresolved feelings are coming up again. I know I was always made to feel not good enough growing up, whether it was from my mother or my father. I just never felt like I was fully accepted, and I've always felt rejected and excluded from my family. And so I do feel this is the time for the divine feminine to rise. We have a square to Jupiter this week as well, and so this is going to show us where we were molded into some type of standard where, you know, we had to be a certain way to be loved or accepted from our mother or our father. And so a lot of us live this out repeatedly within romantic relationships over and over again in order to get to the seed point, right? A lot of us were told to conform to, you know, religious beliefs, family beliefs, government beliefs. And so we're not here to be people pleasing to our own detriment, right? And this is key for the feminine. A lot of the feminines, we are people pleasers, right? And we do this because we don't feel we are good enough as we are on our own. And so I do feel this is going to be a challenge for the divine feminines, is going into any feelings of unworthiness this week. And so we are still purging and cleansing where we've put all of these limitations on ourselves, any repression of our soul truth, and any repressions of our beliefs that really have kept us in a loop of unworthiness and not feeling good enough, where we gave up our power just to be connected to somebody. And so I do feel the truth is we are always worthy. So how can we open up to this truth in our heart and in our soul this week? So I do feel we are being asked to release these old ideas, these old limitations, these chains with these false pretenses and any feelings of unworthiness. And so we're here to shine, right? We're here to be our unique self and in our authentic truth as a soul. And so I do feel many twins are going to be struggling, right? Because we've been on these combative soul frequencies. We've not been aligned when it comes to the true twin flame bond and union. And so I do feel this is a week of refocusing, alignment for the divine feminine. And so I did a lot of reading and I did a lot of journaling on the weekend. And I just feel like I want to talk about the archetype of Christ, or the cosmic Christ, or Christ consciousness, so to speak. And so when we talk about like the second coming of Christ, and it's been prophesized, even my little one, she always talks about Jesus and how he died for us and how he's coming back. The coming back of Christ is the awakening and the reconnection of the reverence of Christ within our heart, within our origins, right? And so we're going through a religious paradigm shift right now. And as we go through this enlightenment process of the heart, we do have to come to this understanding that we are all children of God, right? And many of us don't realize this until we go through this spiritual awakening. And so we as a society have been functioning without this cosmic Christ awareness for thousands of years. And what have we bred, society speaking? We've bred violence. It breeds loneliness. It breeds depression as a whole for society. And so, and then I kind of looked back at the real causes of like addictions, drug and alcohol addictions, cigarette addictions, any kind of addictions, right? Food, including food or entertainment, and how this has kind of haunted our society as a whole because of this disconnect to God, this disconnect to Christ and Christ consciousness and our cosmic origins. And so, a lot of people use alcohol and drugs and these addictions because they truly lack a sense of self, and it's a form of masking, right? And so the opposite of depression really isn't joy, it's harnessing our true vitality, which is the Leo energy, the sun, our solar plexus. And so, give me 1 second, guys. There was another puppy walking by. Sorry about that, guys. So, if we look at our society as a whole, and this is what Twin Flames came here to do, was upheave these old society paradigms, right? Look at society and ask yourself, how full of vitality are our governments, our education systems, and our economy? Not really full of vitality, right? It's all about power and control. And so I do feel a majority of humanity has been in a state of oppression and depression because we lack this perspective of connecting with Christ. And a lot of feminines feel deeply connected with the church because of how women have been portrayed throughout religious backgrounds. And so if we look at it this way, Mother Earth is kind of dying, right? And this is what the twins came here to do, was to ascend and to heal Mother Earth. And so in essence, we as a society playing into all of these addictions it's like the crucifixion of Mother Earth, which is also similar to the crucifixion of Christ. And so the earth is dying. Christ has died within society. And so I do feel the energies this week are leading us towards this resurrection, right? The awakening process is the resurrection of our human psyche. It's the awakening of our mystical brain. And it is the second coming of Christ. And we are the second coming of Christ, right? Going through this divine death and rebirth process, which is the awakening of the knowledge of the heart. And there's no way to awaken the knowledge of the heart without going into the depths of the pain and understanding, right? And purging the blocks on the heart. And we do this by entering into the darkness. And that is what we call introspection. And in the darkness is where we find the mysticism, right? And so the heart is the breakthrough of the energy of Jesus or Yahweh or Yeshua, however you resonate with that energy. And Jesus does represent compassion, justice, and healing. And so I do feel like the creator right now, or these energies per se, are sending the divine spirit down towards those who are ready to heal their heart and to stop living a lie. For those that are ready to step into authenticity, you will return to that Christ consciousness within the heart. And we do have to heal this deep cosmic ancestral pain collectively for this rebirth of spiritual initiations that I feel are taking place this Lionsgate. And so part of this spiritual initiation, we also have to go through the energy of penance. And penance on the awakening journey is purging all of the foreshadowing self-criticism that we hold on to when it comes to feeling unworthiness. And so how can we live in a world that denies mysticism? Because if we deny mysticism, then we are denying Christ, because he was a mystic. And so this penance energy is calling for change of the heart and forgiveness. And in order to reach a state of forgiveness, we do have to be emptied. We have to let go, and we have to be willing to start with a clean slate. So I do feel we're in a massive release of these old paradigms, these old versions of ourselves, so we can connect to the Christ within our heart. And so this awakening process that we go through really is about the sacredness of our response to this reverence that we hold for a greater power, greater than us. And so a true awakening to the cosmic Christ is to see everything as connected, everything as sacred, and to see the divine in all things, even the ugly, right? And so right now, collectively, the mystical brain is dying collectively. Creativity has been dying collectively. And we are so freaking out of balance as a collective, as a society. We've stunted our growth. We stunted our own mystical awareness through the schools that are not teaching us how to develop our mystical nature, our nature of divinity. And even the church represses our own divinity. And so when we look at the brain per se, the right side of the brain is the mystical and the left side is the analytical. And so we kind of have to reform both sides of the brain and find that balance. And so I did a couple of readings last week, and I had a client reach out, and we were going back and forth, and she said something very profound to me. And she said, deep wounds take time to be taken care of and healed. And so as the earth ascends and raises her vibration, we too must tap into our creative mystical brain and ascend with her into these higher states of consciousness. If you look at the Schumann resonance and all of that stuff, right? And so many are awakening and emerging towards this mystical experience of oneness. And each one of us is a part of a greater whole. We all have a role to play as part of this Earth's ascension. And so I do feel many under this full moon are being taken to like this supreme identity of self. But then we also have to go into the depths of the shadow of the cosmic knowledge to understand the interconnectivity of everything. But we are also here to each be interdependent, right? And so all of this wisdom is dying. And when I speak of wisdom, wisdom appears universally in all cultures as a feminine maternal figure. Where have we gone wrong as a society, right? Look at today's patriarchal driving forces and influences. The feminine wisdom has been dying. The mother wisdom has been treated so poorly. Feminines have been treated so poorly. And so if we think of Mother Earth as the divine feminine, the Mother Earth holds the oldest wisdom in the universe. And why do we treat her so poorly? There is no wisdom without creativity, and the feminine is the creative. The feminine is the mystic. And so I do feel right now the twins are here to find the lost pieces of themselves. Even look at the youth today. We're killing off our youth. And so the feminine on this journey, we stand alone, right? The feminine stands alone, it seems, right? But as a mother, if you look at the definition of a mother is a word that defines a relationship with a child. The mother cannot stand alone. She needs to have a child to be called a mother, right? And we are all children of the earth. And so I look around at society. I look at youth, at the bullying, the addictions, the alcohol, the drug issues. So many youth are apathetic and depressed. And so how do we abolish this, right? And return us all to a state of innocence. And so I do feel like a true mother will nurture her children and their gifts. A true mother will never lack connection with her children. And so I do feel like right now there's a huge morality when it comes to the impact of our choices. We all can make choice, and we can choose to either make a positive or a negative impact when it comes to the generations coming after us, up to the 7 generations coming after us. And so are the choices you're making today moral or immoral, right? And so the Bible does also state, honor thy father and thy mother. But what about honor thy children? And so there was a quote that I read on Facebook last week, and it really stuck with me. Emotionally immature parents don't apologize to their children. And this is where I'm at with my ex, the father of my children. He's never once apologized to the kids for the damage. He's avoided, he's ghosted. He can never, ever emotionally have a conversation. He can't have a real conversation about the truth of what took place. He keeps moving on with his life as if nothing has ever happened. Like, I'm the bad guy, and he's not to blame for anything. And I've done the work. I've taken accountability. I've changed my entire life for my children. And then we get this man that he doesn't feel like he has to apologize because he's riddled with shame and he's just a weak person, right? And what I want to say to that is apologizing is accountability. When we apologize, it shows that we own our issues first and foremost, and we care enough about that person to apologize. And then we have to choose to do better. I also feel like the church is dying. I was shown many visions throughout my awakening of the images of the churches burning down. And so we are burning down the churches, right? Is kind of what the twin flames are here to do. I look at it this way. Time is short. Life is short. And when I look at the church, this is why I don't feel connected to the church, is because it is only from a father's point of view. And so women to this day, I feel, remain so out of touch with the church and our creativity due to this deep pain of not being honored and revered in the church. And so I do feel like this reptilian kind of energy that really is associated with the church nowadays. And essentially, I find the churches to be very masochistic. And they do keep society repressed and oppressed, both masculine and feminine. And so I do feel we need to deepen our connection with God. We are all children of God, right? And we need to restore this primal relationship first and foremost between mother and child, or our relationship with the earth as well, because the earth is our basic creation. And so I just feel like this is a huge week of honoring the divine feminine and embracing all of these triggers. But let's jump in with the cards. I'm going to start off with the Spiritual Journey Oracle deck today, and we'll see what needs to come through. Look at that. Healing, light, and wounding. So there is going to be a lot of challenges coming up this week, especially when it comes to karmic relationship dynamics. And we go into these soul agreements to be triggered, right, when it comes to these past life wounds. And so this is a moment in time where I feel we're being asked to embody that healing light, protect yourself at all costs, because there is a lot of unwanted thoughts coming up for clearing, stemming around unworthiness. So wounding, and then reconciliation. So I do feel twin flame reunion is on the horizon, but we do have to go into all of these challenging wounds, and we do that by spending time alone. And so I know we hear it all the time. Union is coming. Union is coming. And, you know, we think there's a gateway coming, like the 8/8 portal, and it's going to be this magical day. And I've done videos on that as well. But union comes when you achieve union of self, right? And so quiet introspection is really what is needed this week as we are being asked to disconnect and just be and recognize the wounds coming up for clearing. And that's where the breakthrough is going to come in at, right? So I do feel like your hard work and perseverance has finally paid off. It doesn't really feel like that collectively at the moment. We do still have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, right? So spiritual places came through. And so we're here to experience these new higher energies. So how can you recognize a like-minded soul when you see one, right? Because as we go through this rejuvenation process of our mind, our body, and our spirit, we kind of rediscover pieces about ourselves. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, right? And I know when I peel back an onion and I chop an onion, I usually end up crying. But as we discover more of these hidden aspects that we didn't originally know, we do have to go through a purging, right? And there's that self-worth. So what is your value in this life? We all hold immeasurable value. We all came here with a purpose. We all came here with a beautiful, distinct purpose that nobody can claim but you. So are you ready to claim that, right? Is a big question. Are you ready to claim your divinity back to source? So we get surrender and challenge ahead. So there is a challenge ahead. And one of the biggest things on the journey is learning to surrender and releasing the need to control. The ego seeks to control, but the divine is kind of taking over. The divine has an agenda of its own. And so the divine is going to bring in challenges this week that we're going to have to face head on. And any challenges are there as an opportunity to improve our life. So do be prepared to be tested when it comes to old program beliefs, where you've held on to that ego, where you've been stuck in a false sense of security, because we cannot keep building foundations for the future out of status and materialism. That's always going to create a false sense of security. That's a false foundation, right? When we embrace the deeper spiritual existence that we all hold, the matrix means nothing. And so we're in a portal of self-development. Many will be receiving third eye activations when it comes to a relationship shift. So any prophetic dreams, any messages that you're seeing in your third eye, they will be prophetic. They will have powerful symbolism attached to them. And so recognize the vision. Recognize where you've been neglecting yourself, where you've not been valuing yourself as worthy, because we can't stop working on ourselves. We're always working on ourselves, right? And so pay attention to the signs and the syncs, because it's time for the collective to make these decisions to live consciously. We can keep playing stupid. We can keep letting life just happen to us instead of for us. But when we come into a higher conscious awareness, that's when we can consciously choose to make choices that will better our life. So I do feel get ready to master a lesson. Something is being manifested this week when it comes to new outlook. So there might be an unexpected teacher appearing on your path, and this might be a short-term contract, but it's going to indicate that openness to receive the lesson. And when we practice the law of attraction, we do need to realize our thoughts will manifest and create our reality. Are your thoughts serving you, right? Ask yourself that. Meditation is really going to help this week, I feel, to find that deeper meaning for the journey and for our life. And I do feel the ascension symptoms are very, very heavy as well. Let's jump in with the tarot. I do want to kind of keep it short and sweet. I do have a lot going on this week. Oh, God. Well, look at that. The 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. So yeah, there is going to be a challenge. I do feel get ready to face opposition. This is also like burning down the battle of the ego. There's the self-worth coming up. There's some type of core abandonment wound needing to be addressed. Taurus energy, Mercury energy. And so get prepared for when Mercury stations retrograde in Virgo. That's a lot of higher mind energy. Virgo, I'm a Virgo moon, and so although it is an earth sign, it is a very mental earth sign. It is a very thought-provoking earth sign. And so we have to heal these past abandonment issues, right? And it's kind of like, look at, you've got a woman and a child outside of a church, right? And so I've been a single mother for almost 13 years. And I have felt abandoned as a mother. I have felt not worthy as a mother. I've never been married. I've had 2 children out of wedlock. And so I've never been, I feel, accepted within religion, the church, and my family because of that. And so 5-5, expect some powerful changes this week. The Leo energy, the Saturn energy. And so we do still have Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And this is drudging up a lot of feelings. And the Leo energy, it's like, get ready for a battle of egos. This is what I feel. So 5s are all about changes. So I'm going to do a 9-card spread for the twins for the week ahead. We're going to see what needs to come through, what we can expect in order to maybe see things at a different angle. Knight of Swords. So this could be receiving unexpected communication. Maybe you're not going to see this coming. You could have somebody unexpectedly show up on your path, and maybe this is what you've been waiting for. But this is the energy of act now, think later, and then we get the moon. So this is stemming around the moon, and on this moon, you know, you kind of see the mirroring energy. And look at all the skeletons in the closets coming out, because we can't keep blocking our heart, right? Is a big message. So let's do a 9-card spread. Let's see what needs to come through. 5 of Wands. Knight of Cups. 8 of Pentacles reversed. We get the 7 of Wands reversed. Well, there's that shift in perspective. We've got somebody here stubborn, stuck. I'm not going to change. I don't need to see things differently. Somebody here enjoys playing the victim, enjoys being the martyr. So this is a strong message for both the masculine and the feminine. Look to where you have Pisces in your chart. This is the dead central energy. So are we really going to stay blinded to the truth? We're not here to be victims. We're here to be victors. We're not here to play the martyr. And so we kind of got to get unstuck, right? King of Wands reversed. Well, if that doesn't scream stuck ego, I don't know what does. There's the divine feminine, the Empress coming through, Taurus, Libra. The Ace of Wands in reversed, or the Palace of Wands, similar to the Ace of Wands, and the Page of Swords reversed. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups reversed with the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, the Ace of Swords. We've got the life force activation, the Kundalini activation, Justice on the bottom of the deck. There's that South Node in Libra playing out. All of these past injustices do need to be made right. And then we get the Judgment with the High Priestess and the Page of Wands with the King of Cups reversed. Oh my God. And the Lovers reversed. And the Knight. And the 9 of Swords in reversed with the 7 of Swords in reversed. And so this is long overdue is what I feel. I feel the masculines are angry. They're lashing out. They've really fed that ego for a long time, right? And they've been on the defense. They've had their heart guarded. And I feel the walls are coming crashing down. And I do feel there's sacred rage attached to that. The recognition of, oh my God, I did not honor the divine feminine. Huge missed opportunity. A recognition of the huge missed opportunity. And so the top row for me is recent past. So challenges, right? Challenges, obstacles, opposition. This is like the smiling liar card. And then we get the 8 of coins in reverse. What I see here is an acknowledgement of the lack of investment with this divine connection. Huge missed opportunity. And I do feel the masculine has been spying, watching in the background. And the fact of the matter is they've been dealing with an emotional manipulator. They've been dealing with somebody that, you know, manipulates using their emotions. I do feel this is going to be a very challenging week. Maybe your masculine is dealing with a Pisces. It doesn't have to be strong Pisces on that Queen of Cups in reversed. And so the karmic is likely going to be activating some type of life force energy for this karmic rebalancing. taking place. And so there is an awakening. This is a finality of some sort. This is a process of soul retrieval and going into the mysteries of the darkness, right? And so understanding and recognizing the poor decision. The masculine chose to dance with the devil. He's ran from this love. He's ran from this connection for so long. And he's denied it on his heart. And I do feel he's an emotional mess right now. Trapped up in his head, having sleepless nights, nightmares of how he treated you. And there's that stuckness. The Seven of Pentacles in reverse is like these masculines have been stuck on water in a dead tree. We've got the karmic and the masculine. Neither of them are emotionally invested anymore. It's a huge trauma bonded relationship, right? And so this is long overdue communication coming, is what I feel. Let's clarify the Hanged Man reversed. Well, we get the Sun and the Knight of Swords. We get the Tower reversed and the Hermit reversed. I just feel this wake-up call is going to trigger action to be taken. The Sun is coming in and saying, hey, act now, think later. I know for me, I've set that intention. I've released. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing for the channel moving forward. I don't even really know what my beliefs are right now on twin flames for my own personal journey. Do I believe in divine union? Absolutely. But I do believe it's a union of self for me. I don't believe we're meant to have a partnership with anyone this lifetime. But this is act now, think later. And this is like, there's no going back. The masculine has avoided this for so long, has avoided coming out of introspection, has avoided doing the deep inner dive. But I do feel there might be some unexpected communication coming. The masculine is angry, right? He's feeling very foolish because he can see clearly now that you were it. You were the wish fulfillment. You were the wish fulfillment. And they were manipulative. They were liars. They were cheaters. They didn't care who they hurt. They were pathological liars. And they would hurt anybody in their wreckage, right? They left us at rock bottom. They stabbed us in the back. They betrayed us. And there's not been a recognition or acknowledgement of this cycle. And so this is past karmic cycles coming back around. If you haven't learned the lesson, get ready to learn the lesson because something is about to come full circle this week, I feel. And there is possibility for union. But it will require a re-examination. It will require a new outlook to see something a little bit differently. Let's do some twin flame oracle messages, and then I will close off with a couple messages from Spirit. Okay, we get separation with eternal love. So, you know, we can connect to our twin's higher soul to understand that we're never truly apart. We're always connected through the heart. So separation is an illusion, and we do need to get grounded. So that's another energy of getting outside, embracing the healing energies of Mother Earth, because a lot of the masculines are still stuck with that karmic partner, which is pushing them to grow. Divine feminine self-love, because you hold the key. So as we go through this alchemy of hearts, internally divine feminine, we do need to understand our heart, our soul holds the blueprint for this twin flame ascension mission. And so I do feel the feminine is rising in her vibration, shedding all of these old limitations, which is triggering overwhelming fear on the masculine's end. And they're going to have to face their doubts. They're going to have to face their fears about coming towards the feminine and opening up to love. So very soon, I do feel there's going to be motion forward. But right now, we have to go into healing all of these unresolved childhood wounds and issues to reconnect to the eternal love of Source. So let's get one last message. Let's do one last message over here from Spirit and see what a closing message is. So there we go. You are a student. I do feel the masculine is really struggling at this time and needs your compassion and understanding. And so the opposite of love is not hate. it would be indifference. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at a state of indifference. So I do feel the masculine is recognizing that the company he's been keeping is really not healthy for him. You know, and we become the people that we connect with, right? We become those people. And then the student comes out. So I do feel the student is ready. The masculine is ready to learn this lesson once and for all. Oh, look at that. The Six of Wands in reverse. Wherever he's been at, there's been no victory. There's been no success. And this is a coming to Jesus moment. No longer living in denial. So there could be a confession, or, you know, something just coming out, being revealed, divinely orchestrated. But I do feel the masculines will be reaching out soon. They do miss you. So I do feel the twins this week, many of the twins will be given a chance for a do-over. But are you ready to approach this from a different angle? Because if we can find a new way of interacting, the outcome can bring a lot of happiness and prosperity. So I do feel a week of epiphanies. So get ready for an unexpected epiphany, unexpected arrival. And that's kind of what I got for the twins for the week ahead. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, I do encourage you to check out that description box below. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.